Your grandfather's victory garden wasn't just about growing food. It was about growing the right food. Because today, there are 20 plants that were once common in American gardens, but are now restricted, controlled, or considered dangerous in many places. Some of these might surprise you. Others might already be growing nearby and people don't even realize it. And once you hear the reasons, you might never look at gardening the same way again. Number 20. Castor bean. This plant looks beautiful. Big leaves, bright colors. It was once used in decorative gardens. It also produces castor oil, which people used as medicine. But the seeds contain ricin, a very powerful poison. Even a small amount can be dangerous if chewed. Because of that risk, many gardeners avoid it today. Number 19. Kudzu. Kudzu was introduced as a solution. It helped prevent soil erosion and was even used as animal feed. But it didn't stay under control. It grows extremely fast, sometimes up to a foot in a single day, covering trees and buildings. Now it's one of the most invasive plants in the U.S. Number 18. Giant hogweed. At first glance, it looks impressive. Tall stems, large white flowers, almost like something from a storybook. But its sap is dangerous. If it touches your skin and sunlight hits it, it can cause serious burns and scars. Because of this, it's strictly controlled in many areas. Number 17. Opium poppy. These flowers are delicate and beautiful. Their seeds are still used in food today. But the plant also produces compounds used to make strong drugs. Because of this, growing them is regulated, especially if used for anything beyond decoration. Number 16. Japanese knotweed. In some countries, people eat the young shoots. They taste similar to rhubarb. But once this plant spreads, it becomes a serious problem. Its roots grow deep and wide, damaging roads, walls, and buildings. Even small pieces can grow into new plants. Number 15. Water hyacinth. This plant has bright purple flowers and grows quickly. Too quickly. It spreads across water, forming thick layers that block sunlight. That means fish and other life below can't survive. So in many places, it's heavily restricted. Number 14. Coca plant. For thousands of years, coca leaves have been used traditionally in South America, but they are also the source of cocaine. Because of that, growing coca plants is illegal or tightly controlled in many countries. Number 13. Purple loosestrife. This plant looks harmless. It has tall stems and bright purple flowers, but it spreads very fast in wetlands. It pushes out native plants and harms wildlife habitats. Today, it's considered invasive in many regions. Number 12. Peyote cactus. This small cactus grows slowly and looks harmless, but it contains a powerful hallucinogen. It has religious significance for some groups, but outside of that, its use is restricted. Number 11. Giant Solvania. This floating plant looks soft and harmless, but it multiplies extremely fast. It can cover entire lakes, blocking light and oxygen. When that happens, everything underneath begins to die. Number 10. Tree of Heaven. This tree was once planted because it grows quickly and survives in poor soil. But it spreads aggressively. It also releases chemicals that stop other plants from growing nearby. Today, it's considered a major invasive species. Number 9. Autumn olive. Its berries are edible and full of nutrients. At one time, it was planted to support wildlife, but it spreads quickly and changes the soil. That makes it hard for native plants to survive. Number 8. Water spinach. This fast-growing vegetable is popular in many cuisines. It regrows quickly after cutting, but in natural waterways, it spreads out of control. It can block irrigation systems and crowd out other plants. Number 7. Khat. This plant contains a natural stimulant. In some cultures, it's used socially, but it can cause health problems and addiction. Because of that, it is illegal in many countries. Number 6. Multiflora rose. This plant was once used as a natural fence. It also provided food for wildlife, but it spreads into thick, thorny bushes that are hard to remove. Over time, it takes over entire areas. Number 5. Hydrilla. This underwater plant was once used in aquariums, but it grows into dense mats that block water flow. It spreads easily and damages ecosystems. Controlling it costs millions of dollars. Number 4. Beetle nut palm. This palm produces seeds used as a stimulant in some parts of the world, but long-term use has been linked to serious health problems. Because of that, it faces restrictions in some regions. Number 3. Garlic mustard. This plant was brought as food and medicine, but it releases chemicals into the soil that stop other plants from growing. It spreads quickly and damages forest ecosystems. Number 2. Brazilian elodea. This aquatic plant grows fast and spreads easily. Even tiny pieces can grow into new plants. It can completely take over lakes and rivers. Number 1. Water chestnut, invasive type. This plant produces edible nuts, but it spreads across water surfaces, forming thick mats. Its sharp spines can hurt swimmers and damage boats. Because of this, many areas actively remove it. These plants all have something in common. At one point, they seemed useful. Some looked beautiful. Some fed families. Some were brought here on purpose to solve real problems. People planted them for food, for medicine, for shade, for decoration, or for erosion control. In many cases, they were not seen as dangerous at all. In fact, some of them were praised as smart choices for farmers and homeowners. But over time, the story changed. What first looked helpful turned out to have a hidden cost. Some spread too fast and took over fields, forests, rivers, and wetlands. Some damaged homes, roads, and power lines. Some carried powerful toxins. Others became tied to drugs or serious health risks. And once these plants escaped control, getting rid of them became far more difficult than anyone expected. That is what makes this story so interesting. It is not just a story about plants. It is a story about human choices. It is a story about how people can look at something small, quiet, and harmless, and never imagine what it could become. A flower in a garden does not look like a threat. A fast-growing vine might seem like a blessing. A beautiful water plant might seem perfect for a backyard pond. But nature does not always stay where we put it, and it does not always behave the way we want. Again and again, history teaches the same lesson. The wrong plant in the wrong place can change an entire landscape. It can push out native species, damage wildlife habitats, cost millions of dollars to control, and create problems that last for generations. In some cases, those problems are environmental. In others, they are medical, legal, or economic. But the pattern is the same. Something people once welcomed ended up becoming something they feared. And that is why not every plant belongs in every garden. A garden is not just a collection of things that grow. It is a choice. Every seed, every cutting, and every plant we bring home has consequences. Some support pollinators. Some protect the soil. Some feed our families. And some, no matter how attractive or useful they may seem at first, bring risks that are simply too high. That is part of what makes old gardening history so fascinating. The people who came before us were not foolish. They were often doing the best they could with the knowledge they had. They experimented. They adapted. They searched for crops that would survive hard times, improve the land, or make life easier. Sometimes they got it right, and sometimes they planted the beginning of a problem that future generations would have to solve. So when we look back at these forgotten or forbidden plants, we are really looking at a bigger truth. Gardening has never been just about what grows well. It has always been about what grows well without causing harm. That is a very different question, and maybe the most surprising part of all is this. Most of these plants did not become a problem overnight. At first, the warning signs were easy to miss. A few extra vines here, a few more shoots there, a pond plant spreading a little farther than expected, a decorative flower appearing outside the garden bed. It all seemed small. It all seemed manageable. But that is how many of the biggest mistakes begin. Not with a disaster, but with something so ordinary that nobody thinks much about it until it is too late. That is why these stories still matter today. Because even now, people are still tempted by the same promises. Faster growth, bigger harvests, less work, more beauty, stronger plants, better shade, cleaner ponds. Quick fixes are always attractive, but history shows that every plant comes with trade-offs, and ignoring those trade-offs can reshape an entire region for decades. So this is more than a list of dangerous or invasive plants. It is a reminder to be careful with what we celebrate, what we import, and what we plant without fully understanding. A garden may begin in one backyard, but its effects do not always stay there. That is why these old stories are worth remembering. Because for every plant that became a warning, there were others that truly helped families survive, filled dinner tables, and earned their place honestly. So check out the next video, where we look at the forgotten crops your great-grandparents grew successfully, and why some of them might still deserve a place in your garden today. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more forgotten stories from America's agricultural past. There's another lesson here too. A plant does not have to be poisonous to become dangerous. It does not have to be illegal to cause harm. Sometimes all it takes is a plant growing in the wrong place, under the wrong conditions, with no natural controls to keep it in balance. That is how small gardening choices can turn into big environmental problems. A vine planted for shade can climb into forests. A pond plant bought for beauty can escape into lakes and rivers. A fast-growing shrub meant to help wildlife can spread beyond fences and crowd out the native plants that birds, insects, and animals actually depend on. And once that happens, fixing the damage is never easy. It takes years of work, huge amounts of money, and in many cases, the land never fully returns to what it was before. That is why these plants matter so much. They remind us that gardening is not only about what we want to grow. It is also about what our soil, our climate, and our local ecosystem can safely handle. The best gardens are not just beautiful. They are responsible. They work with nature instead of against it. And that may be the biggest difference between a smart planting choice and a costly mistake. And that is why these stories still matter today. Because every garden tells a story. Not just about what people wanted to grow, but about what they understood, what they missed, and what they left behind for the next generation. Some of these plants were useful. Some were beautiful. Some even seemed like the perfect solution at the time. But in the end, they all proved the same point. Not every plant belongs in every garden. If this video surprised you, there's a lot more to uncover. In the next video, we will look at the forgotten crops your great-grandparents grew successfully, and why some of them might still deserve a place in your garden today. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel and lets us keep bringing you more forgotten stories from America's agricultural past. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.